Welcome to Tuesday Night with Two Dogs Diggs Hall Pass. I am Bad Dog. Craig. For those of you who don't know, I'm sure everybody does. And my guest tonight, my special guest, flown in all the way from nap time, is Good Dog.
Hello. That's how I feel right now. No, actually, I'm okay. I did have a nap, so I'm almost awake. So I may make sense tonight.
Oh, I doubt it very highly.
I'll try.
So tonight we just thought, as opposed to, sometimes it's difficult to actually find a fully fixed topic to talk about for like a longer period of time. So we're trying to figure out ways to do general stuff too. So today we just called it an Ask Us Anything. We had a couple of questions that came in, and a couple of you have actually, you can feel free to post a question or two if you want them into the chat itself. But that's basically what we're going to do. We're going to talk a little bit about what's happened in the past week. We're going to talk about some of our sales. Then we've got some questions we're going to answer that a couple of people have asked. And I got some questions for you because I got a couple of things that I'm stumped on, and I just don't know what to do with them. So hopefully Rick is stumped on them too. So hopefully you might be able to give us some help on this. We won't be able to answer things like, why is the sky blue? Because today it is actually, we can't see the sky because of the snow. No, it's just started snowing for the first time in our area.
Magic.
It's magic. So big hello to Janet, Lisa, Nellie, Adrian, Diana. Who else we got in here? Hey, Heather and Bob. Mr. Greg, he asked a question that I know I can't answer, but I will talk about it. Holly, Kara, we got some good questions we're going to answer. Dax, let's see. You feel like Black Bolt in the multiverse of madness. I don't know what that means. You know I don't know what that means. Hey, Allison, you made it on time. Whose baby is that? What's your angle? I'll buy that. I just knew what the third one was going to be. What is this snow stuff that you're talking about? I don't know if you may not have any of it. We have it out here. Again, it's the first time we've had it this year, actually. So
I noticed a couple flakes yesterday during our Maxold pickup. But
yeah. So let's chat. First off, we'll just do a little quick roundup. We actually, I don't know if I've got the picture of it or not. I think I took a picture of it and I forgot to upload it. So yesterday we actually had to do some packing. And luckily, we actually had to do a lot of packing. This is what we actually ended up packing yesterday. This is it's on our kitchen. That's how much stuff it was. It was that much stuff that I actually had to turn the thing sideways in order to get to it. It was a huge amount of items. And what it came from, surprisingly, and I know I may sound like a broken record on this, but I have to sound like a broken record because it's doing okay. We did a Whatnot show on Sunday night.
what?
That was a Christmas Whatnot show. So it was vintage stuff on Whatnot. It was our best Whatnot show yet. We sold over $300 worth of stuff in the one show. And we're almost actually now organically at almost 300 followers as well. So we sold to 13 or 14 people. We sold to, of those,
11 were new.
of them were brand new to us. They'd never bought from us before. And we didn't sell everything at $1. We sold stuff there that was selling for $20, $30, $40, $50, $60. So we actually are finding our way through it. And we actually have a show tomorrow night that's all about dolls. So we're doing a doll show. Then next Sunday, we're actually doing another show. And I'm going to tell you what the next show is next Sunday, just because this leads into some of the stuff that we say when you ask us anything. This is, let's see if I can find it. This was me going to the thrift store last week and seeing this as I walked in. I literally...
I'm going to run away now.
Huh? What? You're running away. I walked into the thrift store and there was a big sign up on the front of the thrift store. Our Our credit and debit machines are down, cash only. And I thought, that's interesting. So I thought, I don't know. I'll go in. I walked in, and the very first thing I saw was a showcase. And in the showcase, I saw this entire thing in the showcase of vintage jewelry. My jewels. And it was, I'm removing you for a minute, right? Not only this, but it was a second one also fit like it was. And I looked down, I went, I guess I gotta go get my wallet out. I look at my wallet and I had a 20. Well, I had to go. So I left. I drove to the bank. I drove right back with some money. And I actually ended up buying a ton of these. Now, why would I buy a ton of these things? Well, there's a couple of reasons why. When you look at some of the items that are in here, they are I did sort of my pick of what was in here. And a lot of the stuff that we were looking at didn't get a chance to look too deeply to see if it was marked on them. But this is a pretty good price for looking at this kind of metal jewelry. And this is, I'm going to pop to my other picture right now. This is actually what I ended up picking up from, where's that? There. Thank you, Rick. This is actually what we ended up picking up from it. So a whole batch of it, a number of them signed pieces. And I sort of I made sure I did my pick. I picked the stuff that was really in amazing shape. And I ended up, they're big. So like, they're not tiny. A couple of them are small, on the smaller side, but some of them are this larger size. So 2 to 3 inch ones. And they're that metal stuff. Now, we are not jewelry experts. And those of you who may know, we're not jewelry experts. But what I thought was, I'm going to push Rick into having to do a whatnot show about jewelry.
Screw to the Queen of Refuse.
Well, as you may know or recall, over 3 years ago, we went to a thrift, an estate sale.
Long ago. It was pre-pandemic.
3 to 4 years ago. We went to a thrift because of COVID. Everything, there's like 2.5 years of nothing. But we went to an estate sale, and we hadn't bought anything in the entire day. And it was like 1:30 in the afternoon. And I hope it's not going to be like the dresses. That's what I kind of pushed him on. So this was also, just so you know, that I had a coupon that was 30% off too. So this whole thing, I spent over $100 on pins. Over $100 I personally spent just last week on these. And I know that a number of them, I did send a quick note to Becky Dick, who is our amazing, she's in the Boss, she's in the Complete Reseller TCR, Tony Boss's group. And she is also in craft, and she's also shows up here every once in a while. And
we did a show with her on jewelry.
We did a show with her on jewelry about 1.5 years ago, when she was instructing Rick on how to put the jewelry that he had up for sale. He has still not done any of it. So wait, I still haven't got back. So we get to this estate sale, and we've not bought anything. So I find a couple of things to actually buy. Some of them for a friend of ours who like compacts, like not compact discs, but compacts. Like, oh look, compacts, that kind of compact. So I sent her a picture. Said, "Do you want these?" She said, "Yeah." Rick's like, we haven't bought anything, and he looks down, and I'll let you take it from there.
Oh no, I'm not saying anything.
You're not. So he saw these bags of estate jewelry, and he decided that we would take all of the bags of estate jewelry because he was going to make a deal. So he did. He made a deal, and he bought 14 or 15 bags of estate jewelry for $10 US a bag. It was marked $15 to $20 a bag. So he said, if I take all of this, will you give me a deal? And they said, oh, we'll do the best we can do is $150. I think it was $150 for 14 bags. and they were fairly good sized Ziploc bags, like pretty full. And Rick has done absolutely nothing with them in 4 years. So I keep saying to
I
him,
opened 2 bags and sorted them and then threw them all back in the bag.
you don't even know where they are right now, do you? Don't hide.
Actually, I found them. I know
Did
where they
you?
are.
Where did you? Are they
They're in
still in
a
their bag?
dark corner.
Are they still in their bags?
Most of them, yes.
Go and grab one of the bags. Just, I want you to go grab one of the bags to see. So this is what I thought I would do. I thought I would push him, force his hand. Yes, yeah, you met Becky. Heather met Becky while we were in Brimfield. So we actually met up on that one day. So this is it's not fun. It's funny, but it's not funny. Rick is now the bad dog. It's very true. And I will explain the dresses in a second, Allison. But yeah, so I thought I'm going to have to push him on this. So I bought these. And because we're actually, again, we're doing okay on Whatnot. Been on it 3 weeks now. We've done a few shows. We've actually sold close to $1,000 or more in the 3 weeks. So as a secondary income line to, or tertiary to Max Sold, which we just had our sale last week that was a $1,700 sale, $300 of which didn't get paid. And our eBay sales, we had a really good, like, Thursday to Sunday weekend. We had like a lot of stuff going out and almost $2,000 worth of sales. So we're quite happy about that. That's one of the reasons you kind of want to always think about diversifying where it is you sell or trying some platform that's new. I know right now there's in our craft group, Shelly is trying it, and she's in Canada. She uses the Canada Post side of things, and she's making some headway. And if you are on Poshmark has started doing live auctions as well. Except I'm not hearing that much great stuff about it because everybody wants stuff for $1. But I want y'all to think about the Whatnot. I'll revisit a little bit later too. Now, the question, Allison, you had about dishes or dresses is because we've been to a few places where we bought some dresses. We've actually, wait, I got to show him. He's on screen now. Wait, I'm going to give you the big screen on this one, Rick. There you go. Look.
These are some of them. They're very heavy. They're like 10 pounds a bag.
Those are the Ziploc bags they were in when you bought them?
Yep.
Yes.
But there's some interesting looking things in there.
Oh, there are from 4 years ago. So I think what we're going to do, like $10 on that bag. I think they had to mark that down to that. Diana's saying, I get where Rick is coming. If pushed, I hate it too. Yep. But I'm trying to, so I thought if I do this and we split, like I got these things, we're going to do, those reuse the bags. No, Rick, did you check if there's for gold and silver? You haven't even opened them.
Of course not.
No, he hasn't checked.
How do you check?
Charles says I may or may not own a huge bin of cheap jewelry in your desk pile. So again, what I want to try and do is the pins are ones that we're going to put up separately. We're going to put choice of pins.
Them the earrings that you bought.
What?
I'm going to go bring some earrings that you.
I don't know what he's talking about. And then we're going to combine it. So on this Sunday, we're going to do an estate jewelry sale. And we'll put batches of those bags out and just probably start the bidding at like $10 just to get that back and let somebody else do the sorting of it and get it out of the way. So if we can do that and we can sell 15 bags of it, then we got another $150 coming in that we already put out, but at least it's coming back to us. And then hopefully we'll get some good money on some of these pins because some of them should be $25, $30 pins as well. Pam is saying, I purchased bags in an auction for $33. There's an authentic Rolex in one of them. I will tell him that when I don't know. He says he's looking for earrings. It's a drag queen sale. Ta-da! Yes, I can model them and as well. I don't know what he's doing. Okay. Back onto the screen.
Okay, so.
Okay, wait. Well.
These are
okay, so Okay, but there is.
These are like big ass clip-ons.
They're like, yeah, but I paid $1.
Like big ass clip-ons.
No, but I paid $1 for that whole egg tray.
There are another 5 trays in the back. So
So I paid $5. So I forgot all about those. I got those last year from an estate that was closing out. So
and how
we
many
will
of
check.
them have you listed, Mr. Dawson?
I have listed none of them. Adrian is having fun with us tonight, but no, it's just to prove to you that you probably have some things and you do buy other things, and hopefully you can even entice yourself to do some of the things. So one of the things when I actually found those pins that I was talking about that I found at those pins that I found. The funny thing was the week before they had actually put about 10 pins in. So I actually picked up a few from then. And it was like the following week that this whole batch came in. Wow, Pam said. Also in the bag was a necklace she sold for $500. Pam is saying, make sure you check the baggies. So, but I know that when we looked at some stuff, you pulled some of the stuff out. And Becky actually looked at a few of the things and told you that that was a $40 item and that was a $35 item, and we did nothing with them. So
Actually, I think we listed 2 of them, and then I got tired of trying to take good pictures of jewelry.
well, speaking of pictures, somebody did ask us how we take such good pictures. Well, I can't be the person that talks about that because it's all this guy. It's all him. He takes like 95% of the photos are taken by Rick.
Yes, and basically, we did a course about 2 years ago. Craigie, when did you do your course?
What course? Oh, the one,
You want
yeah,
to sell on eBay
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Well, during that course, I actually did have my own section about photography tips for online platforms. And there are a few rules. Sorry, I'm not going to be all teacher-like, and Craig will stop me if I get to be too professorial. Basically, the things that we do in order to get good pictures. First and foremost, we make sure that the items are clean and prepared for having their photos taken. The lighting is something that's really important. We always try to use either a solid background or you see the brick background that we use. Craig will be talking about backgrounds in a second. We always want to use as many photos per item as makes sense. Right now, eBay is changing the number of photos that you can put on select items from 12 to 24. I think I did one where I needed 18 pictures, but that's overkill. Always use the best photo as the main photo. Craig will have a couple of tips for the main photo. If your photos are a little fuzzy, you might want to try to use a tripod and try to make sure the colors in the photo accurately represent the items you're selling. And if you are using a traditional camera or a cell phone to take your pictures, familiarize yourself with the various options. I know on the iPhone, for example, the native camera app allows you to play with the white balance and also the exposure. And sometimes you need to play with that in order to get an accurate representation of the pictures that you're taking or the items that you're taking in your pictures. Sorry, there we go. Make sure your camera lens is clean. So with my iPhone that has the 3 cameras on the back, I always use a lens wipe or a lens cloth and wipe it down before I take the pictures. I take square photos for eBay. It's still a 1-to-1 ratio. And I find they look best in the tiles that eBay presents both on the mobile platform and on the desktop. White balance is important for accurate colors. Always control the lighting where you take your photos. And you want only one type of light. So if you have a window in a room where you're taking your photos and you have a second source of light, your photos are going to come off a little bit gray because the light coming in from the window is likely sunlight, and the light coming from the bulb for your light source might be a different temperature than sunlight. So lighting temperature is important. You want to make sure the lighting temperature for all of the light sources that you're using matches. Even lighting is best, so either 2 or 3 sources of light. Eliminate clutter in your photo. Take up as much space. Have the item take as much space in the photo as you can. Craig always tells me when I have things that are long and skinny that there's too much negative space around the item. So do what you can to try to angle the item or take as much uh, space in the square as you can. And then eBay does have its own specific photo requirements. You can look them up on the eBay website. I mentioned color temperature. Um, in the pictures that you see here, it's going from 2700 Kelvin, which is kind of yellow.
Hold on, Rick. Can you hold on a sec before you go there?
Yeah.
We just a couple of comments or questions. So one, Tina said she has an iPhone 13 Pro Max and she's always struggling with photography for black clothing. What do you have any hints or anything like that? I know we don't have a lot of clothing, but anything that's black or dark?
What color is the background you're using? If you're using a white background, then you want to set your white balance to the white background.
Okay.
So
And my
touch the area as you're focusing, touch the area outside the black clothing, and it should adjust the white balance.
yeah, she's using a white background. Carl is saying Magic Eraser is great for cleaning dirty light boxes. And my comment is the one that Rick is saying is he'll take a picture and it'll be a picture like this. Let's say this pen is what we're taking the picture of. Well, it'll be a picture of the pen with nothing on this side or nothing on that side. Or he'll take it there and there's nothing above and nothing below. So when you're thinking about that as a square picture, what I have a tendency to do is first off, if it's something long and thin, tilt it sideways. So in this case, if you tilted this that way, all of a sudden a square picture, think about this as a square picture, that's now taken up a lot more room in a square picture. The second thing to think about is maybe that is not your gallery photo if you're on eBay or your primary photo if you're on Etsy. Maybe a picture that's much closer up. I got to try and figure out how to do it. But that, so let me get my head out of it. Maybe that is the picture that's a close up. So try and figure out some way to take a picture of something long, but then focus on one of the key parts of it for when you actually have to do your gallery. And it could be a face, it could be like if it's, especially when we've got dolls, when you have a tall Barbie doll or a Monster High doll, and you think about that, you've got all this negative space beside it. Like I'm the Monster High doll, this is all the space beside it. So instead of doing that as your main photo, maybe your main photo is the face of the doll, because that's also something that people will be looking for in tandem with the title. So think about that. Now I'm going to show quickly before you get onto the white balance thing, just our setup so that you can see how we do the setup here. So Rick can sort of explain this in a little bit of detail. Let's see, go here.
Okay, so basically what you're seeing is our photo studio. I took that picture about an hour ago, and we do have 3 sources of lighting. In the upper left-hand corner of that photo, you can see I have a light directed at the ceiling. If I were to direct that light downward onto the floor or onto the items with the photos being taken, it would be nothing but glare. So I bounced the light off the ceiling, which is white.
And that light is actually the kind you can find at Canadian Tire, or it's one of those, it screws into a normal light bulb and it's like magic light. It's like giganto light. It's like LED,
Yeah.
3 things of LED. And normally be using it, like if you were in a crawl space, you could use it up top to shine the light on your entire crawl space. So Rick flips it the other way around. This just happens to be, you can sort of see it on a light post. So we have a light post that we've hooked up a bulb holder to and flips it up to get that light showing down.
Yep.
Then
Yeah,
Not
and
necessarily
the
solar.
temperature on that bulb is 4,800 Kelvin. So it's almost like sunlight. Sunlight is 5,000. So if you look at the next picture, Craig,
Yep.
no, the next one, and the one after that. Or did you get yeah, the one after that. If you zoom in, these light panels that we got off of Amazon actually allow you to dial in the light temperature. You can see it's set at 4,000 or 4,800 Kelvin, and it's at 100%. That light temperature matches the light temperature from the lighting fixture above. If I were to change that to a different number, then the pictures I'm taking would show up kind of gray.
If you're interested in the number, that's what it is. It's NEWER, not newer, NEWER NL288. NEWER NL288. And they're actually great. It's a great setup because it's these two flat, very thin, flat things. So we actually at one point had these gigantic photography ones. Adrian actually has them now, but they have big, like they're the big bulbs with the round
the light box is a round bulb.
reflective light boxes, and the stand on them is like so far apart and all that. So it takes up so much space. So we
Which was fine
invested
when we
in.
were at the warehouse when we had 20 feet around the table
Yeah,
we were taking.
and here again, we didn't really go over it, but if you take a look at what we've got set up, this is actually. Oh, sorry, I'm on the wrong screen again. Hold on. This is actually our patio doors. You can see back here behind us, this is our patio door. And we've set a bar up with a white sheet that we can pull across and thrown a table on with a tablecloth. This behind it, we've actually hung up on here, if I can get it to this background that we use. We bought this background as well from I believe it was Amazon or eBay.
It was Amazon.
And it's a brick background. Now I know, and we just hang it, literally hang it on two hangers. One is there and the other one's there. So we just pop it up there to hang it up if we want. If we want to have a brown background, because this is a light, if we want to have a cloth, we bring the drape across. That's right here, this drape on the side here. And if we want to actually have a brown background, we can take this, unclip it, and we've got the dark brown darkening shades on the outside. But that's all that is. This is just the space of a little more than a card table. So a lot of people say they don't necessarily think that they have the space to do it. But that's one of the things is you got to get a little creative. So if you have some space anywhere in your house, so you've got a little bit of a wall, and if you know you're permanently doing something, and we actually did this at one point in our old warehouse space, we drilled a drapery track up against above a door. Just put the drapery track up there, and then we hung a drape, and that became our background for every single thing we did. And when we needed to get to the door, we opened the drape. So it was a way for us to actually have a fixed area. You can throw a table in it, a card table. You can pull a little thing behind it, and you can buy all sorts of different sizes of those kind of things. In fact, right now, just on its own, and I'm thinking about getting some. There's these Christmas ones that are out there right now. These Christmas ones that I really like, that are like, we might end up looking at one of these to go on, so we could have some wood or something like that. And I know that people always say, when you hear eBay and things like that, they talk about, and you can order them from Etsy too. Look at these. Etsy has all these different backgrounds that you have available. And I know a lot of people, again, Etsy says we don't care what the backgrounds look like. eBay says use white. We've been using this brick background now for 4 years.
Yep.
And it's a white gray brick, and it actually makes our photos look better. We are still being served up on Google no matter what is being said, because we're seeing sales that are coming from Google on Etsy. And if Etsy doesn't need it, then I don't know why eBay does. and on eBay, and it makes our photos, most of our items, just look that much extra better. So I'm thinking about getting a couple of other things, so it's not always gray brick, but the gray brick has turned out to be the easiest thing for us to actually look at.
Yeah,
As
it's
a real
actually
wall.
almost a white brick.
It
So
is almost a white brick. Diana says command hooks have a drapery hook too. It's a recent addition to the product line. Command is the 3M thing you just stick and you can pull off your wall. So take a look at that as a possibility. People like the fancy stuff. It helps. What it does, it makes it look, it dresses it up a little better than just a white background as well. You're not boring. You just need a little light in your life. So let me go back to where Rick was. He was talking about the light balance.
the different colors of lighting. Basically, if you have daylight bulbs, make sure that the bulbs you use all have the same color temperature. 3 sources of light are better than 2. That helps eliminate shadows. And, we actually set this up in the kitchen when we're doing photos upstairs. We have 2 smaller Niwar lights and just a couple pieces of white cardboard.
That's kind of what we call the dollar store version of a photo booth. So that's actually on a bar, like a wooden bar. So we have to take it down. The bottom piece on there is a piece of Bristol board from the dollar store. The back piece is a Trivision piece from the dollar store. And we've actually used lights from the dollar store, but we ended up ordering these smaller flat Niwar lights to give us a little bit better of an angle on it. And so,
yeah, to use on a smaller space.
And then we use things like plastic tubs and things, again, you can buy at the dollar store to actually help you have different levels that you can stand things on. So it's actually surprising how much stuff you can actually get at the dollar store that can help you. The biggest challenge is probably to find the light. And that's the big thing to think about, is spend a little bit extra money on the light and you will actually be so grateful for that. That one thing that Rick talks about, the big light that is, oops, I just lost that picture. The big flat light, it's got a yellowish light, so you can actually touch the back and are then smaller. Yeah, they do. They actually have filters you can put in them as well. It's a little tiny LED light.
Like, yeah, you can adjust the intensity of the light. It's not as fine-tuned as the dial on the back of the bigger ones, but you can adjust the intensity and the color.
And then, so yeah, and if you're looking for it, sometimes they're sold out. That's one of the things I have found. But again,
and Jeff actually gave a set of these to us last year to give away.
So here is, yep. So here is, this is just Amazon, and all we're doing is looking at Niwar. It is like the company itself has its own part on there, so you can see all the different things that are on here. See the light rings and everything like that. But if you go to go to home on there, you can actually see all the different kinds of things. And there's like a panel light. So that's the equivalent. Sorry, that's the equivalent of what Rick was just showing you, but it attaches to your desk, so you can have better light that way. We're not that big of a fan of ring lights. There's like the video lights that you can get. So that they are not necessarily, I mean, the double set of flat lights, I think, cost us $195.
Yeah, we got them when they were on sale.
Yeah, we bought it so long ago, I can't remember. So here's the little ones right there. 5600K USB video lights with the 2 adjustable, $37. And then there's the other one that Rick is using that's at $94, and usually there is a 2-pack available. This happens to be a 2-pack with all sorts of extra stuff in it. But again, think if you're looking at something like that, Niwar is our recommendation. And you can check that out, and you can always ask. Yes, actually, we've used aught lights too, but we found that the Niwar does work a lot better. But yeah, aught lights are really good as well. Any of the things that are for seasonal affective disorder, the sad lights, they're really nice and bright too. Aiden says his toy lots always look hard to see in the lineup. Yeah, well, and then that's the lineup too. Adrian, sometimes you'll take pictures and it'll be a line like this. When there's a small amount of things in a row, what I always end up saying to Rick is, let's do them as up here, down. Like, let's get 3 little plastic things and put them on a shelf so you can see them in a square.
Well, we have the lucite boxes that I use to put multiple levels when I'm photographing smaller things.
Yeah, and you can buy a little shelf that's little plastic tub at the dollar store for $1.50, and flip it upside down, and you've got one level of a shelf. Right? So you just have to spend $1.50, and you now have a better way to take multiple pictures.
Adrian says that he uses clear acrylic stands from Amazon to make things look like they're floating.
Oh yeah, that's true too. Oh, I didn't see that one. Heather saying, someone asked if the vase that Bob was selling was turquoise. He said no, he bought it and said there was no turquoise. He looked at the photo. Color is different on different computers. Yes, that can be an issue, especially with clothing. One person's color saturation does not match another person's color. So that's why we always say the challenge you may have if you're doing clothing, or some cases, if you are doing vases or things like that, describe it to the best of your ability, and hopefully somebody will understand. If it looks like it's a greeny blue, say greeny blue. Don't say blue, don't say green, say as much as you can about it. And then if a person is really serious and it's something that's really expensive, ask them to see if they can look at the item on multiple units. So see if they can look at it on a desktop, look at it on their phone. And it's just, again, if it's expensive, they want to, and they're really like, I must have it in this color.
Phones are going to have the most accurate color representation because the cell phones are typically calibrated properly. A lot of people don't know how to calibrate their own monitors on their computer.
Yeah, and then Diana got an acrylic soft at Winners. Tina saying cover the riser with cloth napkin or piece of fabric. And yeah, the other thing is you can do a photo grid so that things turn out square as well.
Yeah, sometimes I use the photo collage application. If I'm doing a picture of a Barbie doll and you have the long skinny picture,
yeah,
you can use front and back.
Or long skinny picture and the face and then the body or something like that, so that it actually works out. So
yeah, I very rarely do a photo collage.
That's our photography 102.
Actually, there are a couple other photos I've got here, Craigie. Basically, other options for lighting. This is a big square light cube from Amazon that has lighting built in. And we were using that for a while. I think we loaned it to Adrian because of the space requirements in the place. And it had little flaps that you could open and close so that you don't get the reflection of yourself or your cell phone if it's a shiny object. And that's it. Over to you, Craigie.
Oh, and there was the smaller one, the little small 12 by 12 inch that has the LED lights in it as well.
Yes.
You've got that down beside you. We sometimes use that, especially for small.
It's in the back now, so I'm not going to run and grab it.
So that's photography 102. Now we're going to go on to a question that somebody asked. Karen actually asked this. There were 3 questions she asked. The weirdest experience that we've had while thrifting. And you know what? We both racked our brains and went, there isn't really anything that weird. I think the weirdest thing, well, Rick's comment, you go ahead. You say what your comment was.
Huh?
What was your comment when I said, what's the weirdest thing that you've had happen while you're thrifting?
I don't remember what I said. I'm sorry. I was
saying the F word more than 20 times in a row.
Yeah. When we first started going back into thrift stores after the world opened up again, there were a lot of people that still weren't honoring the 6 feet distance rule. Thank God for masks. I would mutter under my breath, get the F away from me. I think I only turned around once and yelled at a lady and said, "Back the fuck off."
I
I
just said,
don't know
I
the
said
good
quite
way
a few
to do it.
times, I was going, are you
Really
blind?
weird.
Are you blind? I just literally say, this is an arrow. Can you see the arrow? Are you going in the direction of the, I was like, I turned into grumpy old man. I think I think the weirdest has probably been us. Like I've been a stalker on so many people's carts that I'm probably their weird experience. There was this big bald guy and he was following me around everywhere, and it,
Oh, actually, yeah, I've been followed around a store twice. The first one was when I bought the big the paint can, the big metal paint sprayer can with the hose. I
oh yeah,
sold it on Facebook Marketplace, but
oh
it
that
was
yeah,
$9.99, and it was a big like 4 gallon. Uh, it was for spraying paint. When you put a uh, hook up a compressed air source to it and put paint inside, and a hose sprays paint from the other side. I was followed around the store for almost half an hour by an old man who said, Are you sure you're gonna buy that? Are you gonna buy that? Are you sure you're gonna buy that?" It's like, yes, I am.
the butt crack was actually at a Maxell pickup. That the pants dropping down, that was a Maxell pickup. So I was thinking thrift store. No, I actually, yes, I have seen butt crack at many a thrift store. I've seen many things like that website, the people you see at Walmart. There should be a version of it as the things you see at a thrift store, other than the items you actually buy. So the most weirdest thing is the stuff that we actually buy, I think, if anything.
Adrian had a lady shopping out of her cart, or out of his cart. Yeah, that hasn't happened to me. I've had somebody looking at the cart, but not reaching in and actually trying to take it.
Uh, and I'll go to, oh, Diana saying I've had people threaten to take, I've threatened people who've tried to take things out of my car. Oh, I've wanted to take things out of so many carts. One of the things that I've done, which is probably nasty on my part, I picked up a couple of things, and this is usually on a day when it's really busy, so it's usually a senior day. And they're not the greatest things in the world. In fact, I probably didn't need to buy them. And so I actually go, you know what? I can't be bothered. There's not enough cashiers, the line, whatever. I just go, I don't want to be bothered. So I leave the cart in the middle of one of the aisles with the stuff in it. And I just know that there's people probably looking at that stuff going, oh, is this somebody's? And nobody's going to go back to the cart, but I don't know if anybody actually goes back and takes anything out of it, or if it waits until 9 o'clock that night and the people who work there go, why is this cart sitting in the middle of the road?
That's annoying, Craig. You shouldn't do that.
Well, I also tell Rick whenever we're out there and we're shopping, if we're in the middle of the back of a thrift store and we've both done the whole
Just
thrift
leave
store,
it.
I
Just
just
leave
leave the cart. Don't push the cart all the way up to the front. So I don't know.
9 times out of 10, I will push the cart back to where it belongs. The one time out of 10 where I don't is I have to eat.
Yes.
Kai
I will say a
has
second. Yeah, I was going to get to Kai in a second, but I will do that now. Tips for a newbie. Go ahead. You just put
Okay,
K out.
go ahead.
K or Kai. Tips for a newbie seller. How to make your first sale when you don't have any feedback at all. Well, the one thing that we do not recommend, other people recommend it, but I do not believe in it at all, is some people will tell you, go and buy cheap stuff from some other place and get it sent to you so that you will generate positive feedback. Well, here's my problem with that. Number one, you're spending money on crap you don't necessarily want. 99-cent, $1.99 stuff, just plus shipping, just so you can get it in and hopefully have a bot that gave you a 1. And number two is that when you do something like that, somebody has the ability to look at your feedback. If somebody's going to look at feedback and they see that you've got feedback under 10 and they're going, I'm concerned this person has feedback of 4, they'll check your feedback and your feedback will say, as a seller, none. As a buyer, 15. And then it's like, well, they haven't sold anything. So it doesn't help to do that. This is in our personal opinion. If you want to, some people guide you through it and say, do this. I don't believe it, because again, I will, if I really wanted to look at something like that, I would look and see that the seller who has a 3 or 4 feedback, all of it is buying. Therefore, they have not sold a thing, so they don't have a really true 4 feedback. But yeah, Carl's got it right there. Try not to to stress out about that, because everybody has to start somewhere. Depending on what platform you're on, we've been on Etsy now for how many years, Rick?
Etsy?
Yeah.
Oh God, 15?
And I'm just going to find our profile on Etsy. And on Etsy, I'm trying to see, like, here's our profile. We don't have that many reviews of sold items. We've only got 3 people following us. We've only got 6 followers. We following 3 people. We have only 9 items that have been that we favorited. Like, so we don't have a lot in here for what we favorited or anything. And when you look at us as on a whole, our profile, it's like trying to figure out where.
Yeah, Allison is actually saying she's had 25 sales. Congratulations. Allison is relatively new to selling on eBay. I think it's 2.5, 3 months now.
Yeah, is it Allison? Is that on eBay or Etsy? Because I think she sells
Allison is on eBay.
Oh, okay.
I think she's selling makeup products. And again, she's had 25 sales. Excellent. And only 2 feedback, which I think isn't that bad. I mean, feedback is tough to get.
Yeah. Adrian is going to say the other thing, K or Kai, sorry, just not sure how to pronounce it. Whichever way you want to do it, try to look at the selling something that is wanted. So if you can, in your first, if you're on eBay, your first 10 items, you get 10 items as your first listings. Don't pick random stuff. Go through and try to curate to say, this is something that is sold and selling. So I can see that there are a lot of people who are interested in this item. So I'm going to give you an example right now of something that is like, I want to say, well, I don't know. Let's just say these pins, for example. I know this kind of pin can sell. I have a bunch of these, and it seems that they sell for $20, $30 because they actually have a West German thing on here. I might put this up and put it up for either an auction, but if you're not comfortable in that yet, put it up for like $15. Still make some money, but it's a good price, and it's in that area where people are buying a lot of these things. And that's where you're going to hopefully get your first feedback. But generally, only about 20 to 30% of the things you sell get feedback. We've been on eBay 26 years as of October. Our total feedback on eBay is less than 7,000, and we have sold over 25,000 items on eBay. We've in the past year, we've sold over 1,000 items, and we still only got feedback from about 260 people. So if you can get to a 20 or 30%, and some things can help, giving that thank you cards, like Allison's doing thank you cards and sending off a thing saying thank you so much. We'd love it if you could give us feedback. That helps as well. Sometimes reminding people, like sending a little reminder saying thank you very much, but it also can turn it into an irritant. I just bought something and I got an email from the person I bought it from, and I haven't been able to pick it up yet because it's actually across the border for me in Canada. And they're sending me a message asking me, going, tell me what's wrong. Is there anything wrong? Give me feedback. And I'm like, dude, I don't have the item yet. They don't know that, but I'm just like, I don't need to be bugged on it. We used to send those kind of things, but you've been amazing, Allison, if you got $1,200 gross in 25 items in just a few months. That's amazing. They're saying, no, don't ask for feedback. That's what I say on the thank you card. Sometimes our original thank you cards we used to send out said, thank you very much for shopping from Two Dogs Digs. We'd love it. If you have any questions about this item, please let us know directly. and we'd love to see if you could give us feedback. That's it. And then we just kind of, and then the other thing is on eBay, we have automatic feedback set up. So it's automatically giving people feedback. That
No,
actually,
it's Rick automatically sending
as soon as someone
feedback once the order has been processed.
well, that's just it. No, as soon as the order's been paid, we're automatically giving them feedback because they've fulfilled their part of the deal, which is paying. Fulfilling their part of the deal isn't waiting for them to get our item. They bought it, they paid. The feedback is promptly paid.
Yeah, the other thing is you have to be competitive for whatever it is you're selling, all the way down to shipping costs. So one of the things that seems to be a detriment to new sellers is not having an accurate shipping cost
Very
for
true.
the item that they are selling. If I'm selling this mug and I'm saying it's going to cost $20 to ship, there aren't going to be a lot of people who are going to pay $20 for this to ship.
So, Kai, I don't know where you're located, but depending where you are located, make sure if you are in Canada, you're accessing cross-border shippers if possible to be able to have competitive shipping rates. If you are having to sell and use Canada Post as your only version of doing that, again, make sure you're being as competitive as you possibly can and that you're not way overpriced with your shipping versus the sale price. You want to have $10 items, have $20 shipping, right?
Yeah, and feedback
And if you're selling from
matter if you're shipping.
if you're selling from the US and if you're selling from the US and you're using USPS, again, look at what other people are doing. There's experienced people. There's somebody who doesn't happen to be in here right now, but there's somebody I know who watches our show all the time. Will probably watch tomorrow. She'll know I'm talking about her. She had some items up, and I actually asked her. I said, "Where did you get your shipping for these items?" She goes, "What are you talking about?" I said, "She had a purse, and the shipping from Los Angeles to New York on that purse was $94." And I said, "That's not, how big is this purse?" And she goes, "What? No, it can't be. It should only be about $7." I said, and I showed her the screen cap. And so whatever number she put in, she put in a number. Said, you wonder why no one's buying your stuff? Half of the items listed right now I see have $40 to $50 shipping or more. And I was talking about them going from San Diego to New York, Buffalo, New York. So keep your eyes open for that. Andrew uses chit chats for cross-border but shipping heavy items is unbelievable. Yes. Would eBay have an issue if you ship FedEx for the 4 or 5 heavy items you ship per month since your location is set in New York? No, if you do not specify the type of shipper. So when you're building your listings, go into your listing
generic descriptor for type of shipping.
For the type of shipping, and I'm just going to find that right now, Rick, so you can talk it a little since you're our shipper.
Huh?
You can talk about it since you're the shipper. I'm just trying to find our...
Oh, yeah. No, eBay does permit you to pick a different... actually to select which shipping service you're going to use if you use a generic shipping service. Like for our shipping, we only use standard shipping, economy shipping, or international shipping. We don't actually say USPS first class or USPS priority or USPS parcel select or FedEx ground or UPS select or whatever the different fine-tuned options can be. If you use calculated shipping, then you can basically have the buyer pay the exact shipping. But
so this is what Rick is talking about. If you put something in here and you have said you are using FedEx ground, you have to use FedEx ground. But if you just put in economy shipping, or what we usually do, standard shipping, we can choose anything we want. But if you put in USPS first class as what someone is buying, they are expecting it to be USPS first class.
But you can upgrade that service if you want to pay the extra.
To expedite it or something like that. But again,
you never downgrade shipping.
You can never downgrade, and you always put in standard shipping or economy shipping. Yeah, so always put economy and use whoever you want. Yeah, that's the best way that you can do it. That you can do it. And same with you can put it in for international delivery. If you're looking on here, expedited from outside of the country.
Yeah,
But
the
try
other
to
thing you have
use.
to pay attention to is the number of days it's going to add to your shipping and handling time. The
Yeah.
type of service you select is going to add however many days for that service. So for economy,
So here's the
off the bat.
example. Let me pull this up, Rick.
Yeah,
So Slow Crafter saying, I always put economy. Economy, if you clicked off economy, it says 1 to 10 business days. So that means that the further away it will estimate, because when someone goes to look at an item on eBay, they actually get the shipping time. When they go to find this is an item they have available, it will tell them estimated delivery date is here. So it's going to give 1 to 10 business days. So we actually always say try to use standard, because standard actually is 1 to 5 business days. And if you're using expedited, it's 1 to 3. So that's a little too fast. But using 1 to 5 business days with your handling as well, because your handling days are built in there. So if you say I've got 3 days handling and I use 1 to 5 business days standard, that means that something will arrive between 4 and 8 days afterwards.
business days, not counting weekends or holidays.
Sometimes, yeah, they can be quite optimistic. But we've actually found we get a lot of stuff that's surprising that's getting there in 2 and 3 days. And now we've got the Christmas period, so that could take a little bit longer. But yeah, it's one of those things. Now, I will say there's a question that Greg actually asked, and this is actually it's a really big question, but it's so hard to answer, and I wish we could answer it, but we've just chosen, I guess we'll call it the chicken way out. Greg P, who's in here in the chat, watching on his computer this time as opposed to on the TV with Kathy, is always got questions, especially about selling internationally and some of the countries that are coming up with complicated ways of accepting items. Germany, most recently, you have to actually sign up for a thing that I don't even know anything about. Rick knows about it. We've had issues there's some markets, like I believe it's Spain, where they don't accept used clothing, or Italy, one of the two doesn't accept used clothing.
Toys. Italy, you can't ship toys to.
There's so many of these little things, and it's getting that way in a number of countries. And Greg's question was, I wish somebody could explain a nice, simple way of doing it. Unfortunately for us, we just say, to hell with it. There's enough buyers in the US and Canada, Australia, New Zealand, England, France, that we'll knock a country off. And we do that all the time. So Germany is on our no-ship list. Russia and Ukraine are on our no-ship list because of the war. Certain parts of Africa are on our no-ship list because things just went missing.
Mexico,
South America is probably on our no-ship list in general. If somebody's from one of those markets and they want to find out about something, they will message you. But generally what we've done is we've taken our list and said, nope, this is the area we want to ship to. And in most cases, I'd probably say in 70% of the cases now, we actually will say we only sell to US and Canada. There's only certain items that we'll put on where we'll actually add in the international option for the worldwide thing. And on eBay, the nice thing is on eBay, if you go into your profile on eBay, you can select where it is that you want to exclude. Let me just show you how easy it is to get there. Go on by your name, go to account settings, and under account settings, you'll actually go down on here and you'll actually see shipping preferences. And when you see shipping preferences, you can actually enroll in the global shipping program, which we do not recommend, but exclude shipping locations. And you can see right now we have 201 international shipping locations. You edit that and you just pick where you want and what you don't want. So that's what we do. In fact, you can look in here and see that Africa is completely blocked. Middle East, South America, and Central America and Caribbean are completely blocked. In Southeast Asia, all the countries come up, and then you can choose that I do want to send to Hong Kong, and I do want to send to.
No, that's the exclusion list.
Or sorry, I did the other way around. Yeah, that's excluding it. So if I don't want to send, don't want to send to Brunei or Cambodia or Indonesia or Laos or Macau, Malaysia, Philippines, Taiwan or Thailand or Vietnam, I do that, and now I've excluded all 10 of those. All right, so that's the easiest way for you to do it. And then at the end of the day, you go down here and save it. And so now if I list something worldwide, it actually is going to send it worldwide, and anybody outside those areas of the world can't buy it.
Okay, so Adrian is saying that we should read Andrew's comments. Basically, Andrew started on eBay 2 months ago part-time. Used the channel for much of his getting started info. Has netted $2,500 on $5,000 sale. Well, thank you for listening to us, old fool.
Oh God! Yeah, thank you, Andrew. No, I'm so happy that you're actually doing great at the sales. So and that it's hugely helpful for your family. So that is really that is cool, and that's just it. It's you can sell stuff so that it makes money for you. You can sell stuff so that it helps pay for a vacation. You can sell stuff to fix a car. You can sell stuff just to sell stuff and make a little extra money so you can go out to dinner a month, go to a casino, go on whatever you want. But it also is a way for you to sell. And that's one of the reasons we're talking about different platforms and why we're now talking about thinking about Whatnot as a sales success platform for us. We've tried Poshmark, didn't work really well for us. We tried Depop, but they're all really clothing focused. But Whatnot is actually working okay for us. So
now we do have 2 more questions to answer, Craig. Favorite item that you
yes, that is annoying.
That kept, and the one that got away.
Yeah. Now Greg's comment is there are big money. Greg's comment is there is big money markets in Europe, and again, there are that we understand that, but for us, we just don't want to deal with all the hassles on it. So we're still fine with who we're selling to right now. And I understand because Greg sells a lot of stuff to those markets. So it's very important for that. Yeah, if they're not supposed to be able to accept an offer. And if they do accept an offer, just cancel it saying problem with address if you're doing it on eBay. And yeah, Adrian, there's people in Australia. There's people who are collectors of things who will pay whatever it costs to ship something because they just cannot get it in their markets. That's very true. Tina's saying she started a year ago and it pays her pricey health insurance. So yeah, there's lots of things you can do with this little extra way of selling stuff. And Tina says she has somebody with a Limax. There's a perfect example. A Limax holiday accent piece on the way to spend, and they spent $90 because of the shipping there. So. Sorry, what were you saying, Rick?
Oh, we have 2 more questions to answer, and I think that might be a great end to the show. Karen Lewin wanted to know what's the favorite thrifted item that you bought to sell but kept, and what's.
Well, I'm going to show you a thing that Rick did. So I've kept a lot. I couldn't even name the amount of things that we bought that we've thrifted to sell.
Are those earrings part of it?
Yes, the earrings are part of it. I kept them for me. You don't know. Every night I put a pair on and walk around the house when you're having your naps. I'll tell you. No, there is lots of stuff. I mean, I'm looking at my shelf right beside me right now, and there's things that are on the shelf that are everything from the choir boys with the satanic eyes to I bought this to resell. But I just stare at it all the time now because it's a little nun playing baseball, and it's just like that sassy little thing, like with people looking at her butt. It made me keep it. And I paid $1.99 for it, and the sticker's still on it, but it sits up there. I've got action figures, I've got artwork, I've got all sorts of stuff. The thing I hate the most, though, is something that Rick bought that he said he was going to sell, and instead he nicely decided to give it to me as I don't even know, what did you call it?
I bought it because it reminded me of you.
How the hell does this
damn thing? Shoes.
The shoes remind you of me.
Remember you went for Zap at Halloween
I did. Year? I went as Zap from American Gladiators at Halloween 30 years ago. I did not even wear shoes like that. I did try to look like that though, but still, I don't know why. So, and this is the biggest kick I got out of. This is the trophy
That's second place.
for third place. So Rick bought this at a thrift store and gave it to me
On camera.
On camera, and unfortunately, it sits in our office right now, staring down at me constantly. But I will tell you something that Rick bought that he promised me he would sell. And he still got it. And this is one of the things that drives me crazy.
I love
this
her.
is the most bizarre.
I love her. She's fantastic.
What the heck is this mini skirted needlepoint angel?
It's an archangel.
In a mini skirt.
In a sparkly mini skirt with go-go boots.
These boots are made for walking boots. What the heck is Nancy Sinatra as an angel? I don't even understand it.
I love her. Him.
Yes, that was the best character I could come up with.
I love them.
Yeah. So, well,
new bathroom art.
It's been sitting somewhere visible. Like it's been sitting up here in the office where again I have to stare at it.
It was
all the time.
All
the time. So those are some of the only other thing that was a question that was, what's the biggest thing that slipped away? We've told this story before. This was actually something that I wished I picked up, and it was a Blythe doll. Blythe is a doll that came out from Kenner in 1972, had a string in her head, and when you pulled the string, she had 4 different color eyes that rotated around. So her eyes would close, and they'd open up like orange, close, blue, red, pink. And so we pulled the string and eyes changed. We went into a Value Village at $9.25. I saw her in the Value Village. She was $125, I think, Rick, $150, yeah. $125. And I went, I don't know if I want to use my coupon for this because the coupon was only valid at that point up to $100.
I should have insisted you buy it.
And Rick didn't insist I bought it, and they were closing the store. So we got home, and when we got home, we decided, you know what, I got to go back. I literally drove the next morning to get there for when the store opened. I was 2 minutes after the store was open, and it had sold. Somebody walked in that morning, saw it, bought it, and left. And it
wasn't me.
I probably lost like $500 or more because those dolls can actually sell for big money. And the last one we sold years before that sold for almost $1,500
with one leg.
With only one leg. So, Heather wants to see my shirt. My shirt is from Cakeworthy, and it's my Jurassic Park shirt. So it's a great company called Cakeworthy, and they have a whole thing of Jurassic Park licensed stuff. So this is my Jurassic Park dino shirt.
What monster behind Craig? You mean Tony Toenail?
The monster you have in the background. So, Tony? Oh, you can only see it when I do that. Tony. Hello, Carl. Hello, Carl. Yeah, I guess that's something I thrifted I didn't think I'd sell it. So, yes, I know. I can't wait. I can't wait to go to the store in Hamilton because everything's at par at the store in Hamilton. We can't catch it all. I have a cashier every Tuesday at charity thrift. How many times I cringe with something, but yeah. So yeah, it is every once in a while that happens, but yeah, we do love creepy dolls. That's true. But we love you guys more, and we thank you so much for spending a Tuesday evening with us. If you are thinking about selling on Whatnot, and again, here's the link for Whatnot. If you're thinking about that, this is us at Two Dogs Digs. We have shows coming up tomorrow night. Our doll show, Sunday, estate sale jewelry. Then after that, another thing of stocking stuffers. Then after that, we're planning a bunch of shows. And again, 15 reviews so far, 284 followers. We're almost hitting 300. 145 items sold.
24 reviews, honey.
24 reviews now, sorry. And 145 items sold. And this is with us being there. This 284 followers is all organic. This is us being there. So if you are thinking about joining, Again, this is the link that you can use. I'll put the link down in here that we always talk about. This is a link that you get a $10. Oh, that's not it. That was the wrong thing. That's an eBay item. Copy link. Copy. This is the link for Whatnot to get a $10 credit if you want and for shopping. And then if you want to become a seller, there is a different link that is we will split the money on, which is they go earn $200 if you can get somebody in here. So, but you know what? If we can earn the $200, we'll split it with you. And this actually just happened yesterday, actually, with somebody who started up with us, and they have split, and we're getting the referral fee for them and splitting that. And actually, we were referred by somebody, and they just got their $200. That's $200 US that you get to split if you want to try it out. So if you're thinking about try out Whatnot and see, at least take a look there, even for shopping. You can list as a Canadian, sell within Canada, or list in the US if you have a cross-border shipper who accepts it. Chit Chats does not accept it, though. You have to have somebody who can accept USPS labels printed elsewhere. So
Stallion does right now. I know that for fact.
Stallion does. So 200 smackers. Yes, you can split it between the two of us. So thanks again so much for joining us. Next Tuesday, who knows what we'll talk about next Tuesday? Maybe we'll do another Ask Us Anything. Maybe we'll do a profit pile dig, because we've got a bunch of stuff that we're still digging out from in our profit piles and finding. We also are going to be talking to a couple of Whatnot sellers to see how they are doing on the system as well. So we can, again, main reason we're talking about that is because we think it's working for us. It might work for you. So yes, you can sell on Whatnot in Canada and ship in Canada. So Whatnot has Canadian and US sellers. Shelley Robbins is actually a Canadian seller using Canada Post. So you can sell in Canada. The buyer pays the shipping, and then you get printed Canada Post tracked labels either in Canada or to the States. So you can sell to the States or within Canada.
I think Joel's set up to sell from Canada as well.
Joel is set up to sell from the States. And I think Kevin might be signed up as well. I know that one other person signed up. Thanks again for all the fun. Hopefully you'll have a great Tuesday night. We will see you soon, maybe even over at Whatnot. Woof. I'm Bad Dog.
I'm Good Dog.
Yes, you are.
I'm paying attention, partly.
Yeah. Nap time! Woof.
Again?
Ask us questions if you have about them, just come to us and see us on Craft. Woof.